Alright, welcome to our latest release of bodies video. If you missed it, here's a bunch of parts we just got in recently. Go watch that video if you're a Losi guy. If you're not a Losi guy, you probably don't care. Bodies though. Porsche Longtail Moby Dick. Mazda Rx-7. Funko Yokomo 834B body, half body. The Bolink Funko body that's Tamiya and RC10 compatible. I don't remember which one that is. Then you got the SS2A Funko RC10 Tamiya compatible body. Then the company who makes the Golf car. And these are 12 scale, that's 12 scale, that's 12 scale. And yeah, those are off-road. These are what we've run so far. These are already up for sale on eBay and the store. We had these, the two good ones that we got, because we're trying, guys, trying to get, better at this. It's not as easy as it may look on TV. The two goods we had, we sold on eBay. My apologies to our customer in Japan, who we sold one of these to accidentally, without them realizing, the guys realizing we had already sold the good ones off. It should have been removed off our store. He bought it out directly from the store. So we refunded him on that one and everything, because that shouldn't have gone out the way it is without at least a discounted price and an advanced warning of the condition that it is, because these do have some problems with them. And the big problem, this was originally rated a 1, as in it was great, but it got noticed that big bubble right there. And those for not familiar, that's trapped air underneath there. The air couldn't evacuate from there. And that's either because there's no hole, it's just kind of acted like a suction cup and got stuck there, or the plastic cooled too quickly because it hits the mold, which is colder, and then it doesn't form to the mold and it can't evacuate the air out. Could be a combination of those. We've started to work on that. We've gotten better with these ones. These were done 3 or 4 weeks ago. In fact, these were like the first bodies we did on the machine, so cut us a little slack on that one. These will go up though on eBay and the store at a reduced price. We want to get rid of them. They're usable. They're not, I mean, other than that sort of thing, they're not real bad. They're usable for somebody who wants a good beat around body or doesn't care that much. And remember, these have film on them, so it may look different without the film on it. I don't know for sure on that one. Then the Mazda Rx-7. This one we ran a few of. We've got the same issue with the air trapped underneath on this one. And like I said, these were run after this half body, so we've started to figure out now the trick to get those out now. So we'll run these again and try and figure out. But we'll put these up first for sale at a discounted price and everything. And this is the Mazda Rx-7. Woohoo! Looks pretty dope, doesn't it? Then the Porsche Longtail. I should get, this is not one of the better ones. And if you saw we had these numbered, we've changed how that works. If you notice here, there's a notch out of that one. Or actually no, this is not, this is still this one needs to be labeled somehow. But our ones we ran this weekend are all kind of sort of identified if they're good or bad in a way that doesn't involve writing and it's easy to glance at. And you see right here, there's a notch right there. So we have a grade 1 to 5. 1 gets this notch taken out right up here in the corner. 2 is over here. 3 is there. 4 is there. And if it's a 5 and we think it's still sellable, which is fairly doubtful, all 4 corners will be trimmed off. So that's how you know what kind of quality it is on it. This one is, as you saw, is labeled a 4, so that's not real great. That one, kind of see, has some speckles in it. That's air or debris, or not dry enough. And I think in this case, it's probably the plastic was not dry enough before running it. Then there's some chill lines on here, which you'll find a lot of these older bodies actually have these chill lines. It's kind of a fact of life, but it's in the wheel weller, so it's not quite so bad. And I don't know if this has any other issues. Nope, that's pretty much it. Oh, no, here we go. We had a problem that wasn't drawn down quite right on that corner there. You compare, see the nice defined edge on the left there. And then you come over here, see it wasn't getting a good suction down, so it kind of crept into that trim line. It's not horrible, but it's not where we want it to be at. So that got a 4 rating. Still usable, but you know, not that great. But it'd be a great one if you're just going to go out and beat it on the track. Who cares? You know, and you're going to get it at a discounted price. So why wouldn't you buy it? Then we got the Golf over here, and there's a funny story on this one. We only have a few, and we were just getting it good when we had to stop. I'll explain a little bit why we had to stop. This one, let's see, it doesn't have the air trapped underneath. I think it had a little bit of, maybe a little bit of moisture thing. No, here it is. Webbing. Got right up into the rear bumper there. That kind of sucks. That's not so great. And these all, I think, did I say it already? These all have film on it. You can see a chill line right there. That's okay, that's going to get trimmed out by whoever's using it. So this was notched, what was this notched? 3, because of the webbing in the back there. Not terrible, but I think there's maybe a little bit of speckles. It's not terrible, but it's not as good as we'd want it to be. Then the SS2 body, these came out really well. Now, this will go into about the chill thing. Because, if you know what it is, it's the plastic hitting that sharp edge right there at the top by where the shock tower goes, and the plastic cools as soon as it hits that, and then the vacuum takes place and it sucks that cooled spot down around and pulls it down around the edge. Well, now it won't form to the mold because it's cold and it doesn't have the elasticity and stretchability that the other plastic does, so you get that mark. And if you look carefully at some original low-C bodies and associated bodies, especially for the trucks, you will see these all the time. It's just how it was. And the way to get around that is don't put such a sharp edge on that. At least for these type of molds. And the reason you can maybe not see it in some newer molds or newer bodies is because if they've done them right, they've made them heated molds so that this mold that would make this body would be close to the temperature that this stuff is getting soft at in order to make it vacuum formable. And then it cools the mold and cools the plastic so that it can pop off. None of these molds, these original bowling molds, have any sort of cooling ability or heating ability, I should say, in the mold. So you have to manually figure out a way, and that involves usually like a heat gun, or we're looking at getting a heated box that can kind of go over top of the mold while the plastic's back in the oven and get it up to a temperature that will prevent this from happening. But you need a temperature control module, you need the heater elements in the box, and right now we just don't have the money to pull that one off. So you're going to continue to see some of these chill lines in it. And in the trucks, you usually notice it on the back shock tower area where they would have the number little spots at in the rear shock towers. Those were all over in like the GTX bodies, even the Mini T bodies. There's recently Mini Ts, and even the associated T4 bodies have it a little bit in them. That's how big of an issue it is in the industry. They don't talk about it a lot, but it's there if you look for it. I've seen even some of the new Pro line bodies for like Traxxas trucks have it. It's just all over in it. So set expectations now, guys. It's a fact of life on bodies. Unless you got a good heat control for your mold, this is what happens. Another thing you can do is put your mold in upside down, and as the plastic sags, when it comes out, you stick the mold down into the sag, and you might get rid of some of it, but it still can be an issue. So we did find a way in one of our other manufacturers that had run on this to kind of get away from it. It wasn't such an issue. And the problem was, it's called a pre-stretch. You stretch out, you blow air into the plastic to bubble it up, and then you stick the mold in and then suck all the air out. Problem is, it stretches the bodies much thinner. Much thinner. And it's hard to control where then some of this, it'll have extra plastic, and it's hard to control where that extra plastic goes. Either create webbing in corners where you don't want it at, or bunches up in other spots and it makes a mess, won't come off the mold or come out of the frame of the mold for the mold and everything properly. It's a way to get around it, but it's not the prettiest. And our machine right now in its current configuration doesn't have the ability to do that pre-blow, and we don't have the ability right now to make the mold come in from the top. That was an optional thing, but an expansion optional thing for our machine. We may add that on later, see if it improves anything. But our machine is not just intended for RC stuff. We are going to use it for other industry stuff. because in our area there is nobody doing thermoforming vacuum forming. So we've already got a few other interests in people who want to run stuff. So you may see here in the future we don't run the bodies as much, or there might be a backlog as we do other customers' work. Okay, I'm going to interrupt what you're watching right now to show you something. We're talking about chill lines in the video. This is an original jam and buggy wing, so not from us. You're right there, how bad that is for chill line. Goes all the way around that side. So this side would be trimmed off, so that wouldn't be a big deal, but this side's going to be visible on your wing a little bit. So like I said, this is a known thing in the industry. They don't talk too much about, but it's there. We're not the only ones. The last two places we had run our bodies had this thing, and we're running into it too. And it is not an easy thing to overcome if you don't have all the right tools and equipment to do it. This side's not so bad. Actually doesn't really have too bad of a chill. So what that probably means is that there was probably more than one wing or some other stuff being run at the same time on the machine, and depending on where this was situated in the frame of plastic, this was probably to the outer edge, this side, and so this side gets stretched out more because it's closer to the edge of the frame, and it pulls that down around the corner. And this was more towards the middle, so it didn't do as much stretching, and it because of the plastic had already sagged and everything as it was heating, and so you don't see as much on there. So that's how you know kind of in these machines where it's at in placement in the machine. That means it's probably was an outer edge near the frame of the plastic, and that gets pulled down around the edge then. And this is only something you just learn from experience. It's I'm learning stuff all the time on this, and there you go. Like I said, we're not the only ones to run into this issue. It's not a sign you don't know what you're doing. It's just a sign that you may not have all the tools handy for you to get the best results based off the amount of money you're outlaying to get these made. You can eliminate this with really expensive molds and other technology, and then jack up the price on the customers, or you can just say it is what it is. All right, back to the rest of the video. Boy, that was a long one, wasn't it? And then we got this one. This one actually, oh my gosh, this came out so beautiful. Every single pull came out awesome. No chill lines. It was great. I loved it. This was easy to work with. In fact, I tried messing around with the settings a little bit, and I actually made it worse. You can see there's a little bit of webbing here, but I didn't even want to mess with it because that's below the cut line of the body. It doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. There's a little bit, once again, a little bit of webbing there. It's below the cut line. May not look the prettiest when it's sitting in a bag or on the shelf or whatever before you cut it, but you know what? If you want unless you want the body to cost more, deal with it. But yeah, that came out really well. And you'd be surprised the amount of air cheat holes there are in this one. There is a lot. That's for the air to evacuate out. There is a lot in this mold to get all these details in the netting. One thing I'll go back to on this, like I said, we were doing great on this. We had air trapped in the roof. We got that removed, and we thought we were cruising along. We were getting ready to start pumping these out, and then I did a big goof. I put the plastic in the machine upside down so that the film was facing the mold, and that film then stuck to the mold and just created a huge mess, and we had to stop, and we just switched out the molds and ran the what was it, I think it was the buggy. We ran that one after, because it's going to take me a while to get all the sticky film stuff so we don't have debris stuck on the mold off of it to run the next ones, run these again. But we got a few of these that came out pretty good. There's a few errors. We will sell these, the best ones first, then we'll put up the rejects, not really rejects, but ones that have errors and everything later, and everything on the store and on eBay. And I apologize to the guys who wanted the Mazda Rx-7. That one we'll do again. Now that we've kind of figured out a way to get rid of the air trapped from underneath, we found a way, roughing it up a little bit helps create channels for the air to escape. So if you're doing this on your own, that's one of the ways to get around it. If you have a surface that's too smooth, air can't get away. Also, if the mold's really cold, plastic chills right there and then doesn't stretch out and conform to the mold. Heat gun can help you out there a lot. But I think for us, it was a combination, especially on this one and that one, a combination of roughing up the surface and the heat gun to get that to get rid of those bubbles on the roof and everything. And we'll do these again, and we'll do that step to get rid of it. Like I said, this is a learning thing. If you've never done this, trust me, it is not easy. There on the machines, there are so many settings to fiddle with to try and get it just right. You have it too hot, you get tons of webbing around this. You can kind of see there's a little bit there, but once again, that's below the cut line. But and actually on the back of these two, there's some webbing right on the edge. But this whole section gets cut out. So if you know anything about these bodies, so it's wasted plastic, so nobody's going to care about that little bit of webbing there. But yeah, look for more of these videos. We'll do some more in the future, showing off the latest production stuff that we've got going and everything. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll try and answer them as best as we can. I'm going to be very open about how this process works. I figure people the more you know how it works, the way you understand some of the issues and why things are the way they are. And it helps everybody. And if you get a body from us and you're not happy with it, let us know. We'll try and run you another one that's maybe better. Because we try and look them over, but we may miss something. Maybe there might be a hair or something on there that we missed. I know we had one place where we did those beetle bodies at, and there was something stuck to the mold for almost every single one they ran, and they never noticed it. And it was moving around on the mold as it was being run. You could see it in different spots on each sequence of the runs. It was in a different spot moving around. If you don't have somebody who's paying close attention, you miss it. It's not real hard to miss it when you're also trying to watch out for the air bubbles on top and the webbing in the corners. If you're not really looking for it real well, you might miss it. So if you have one and you think we missed something on it, it's not the greatest, let us know. We'll either work on you on price or get you another one run that's a better quality and everything. No biggie. We want to make you happy in what you get. We don't want any surprises when you get the body. Have a good day.